Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Allie. Welcome to I've Never Told Anyone This But the podcast by Soft Serve Studios. I hope everyone's having a good day. Today, I have here with me Scott from Jet Set Trainers. Everybody, welcome Scott. Hi, Scott. How's it going?
Doing good. I'm happy it's the summer.
Yes, summer is my favorite season. A lot of people love fall, and that's cool and everything. But when it's warm and you can go to the beach or take your dogs for a walk and it's not like you don't have to bundle up before you walk outside.
Yeah, everyone's alive. That's what I like about it, I think. Just everything's alive and there's just so
Hmm.
much activity and I just kind of like that buzz.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We get those blooms in the spring, but in the summer, I feel like everything turns green. So I love that. Well, I'm excited to have you here. I mentioned, and we should definitely talk about your company, Jet Set Trainers. I see your logo as well.
Sure. Yeah, I'm an airline pilot, but I also became a health and fitness coach within the last couple of years. My business is an online health and fitness company where we help people um, shed fat and travel. And I have this firm belief that you don't need to sacrifice your health for your job, specifically travel. The reason why I started this business was because of all the people who do that, who believe that, or just don't know how to truly be in control of their body and their health despite changing routines, changing, um, you know, sleep hours, changing food, changing environments. It's so hard for anyone to stick to a health and fitness journey, let alone stick to it when their routines are constantly being changed. And a lot of my coworkers and peers and other people who exist on the planet know what I'm talking about. There's nothing harder to do than travel and be mindful and intentional with your health. And it's an obstacle that a lot of people suffer with. It's something that a lot of other health and fitness professionals struggle with too. And that's just the life I live with my career. And I was able to figure out how to do it for myself. And now I help other people overcome that challenge, overcome the dangers of travel and how it can affect your health long term.
Mhm.
And it's been really rewarding. So that's what I do. And I'm a unique guy. And so you found me.
Yes, I am so glad to have found you. When did you form this company?
I formed this company just over a year ago. Um,
Wow.
and it was actually because I just was like kind of, I had this like stirred up energy where I actually applied for a job and didn't get it. And through that kind of not sadness, but disappointment, I was like, I'm gonna go do something for me. And I've always wanted to do this. I just kind of talked myself out of running a small business. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. They told me no. I'm gonna go do my own thing. And I'm gonna tell myself yes. And go see if I can stir up a company and help people. And it's been great. It's been really fun.
Awesome. I totally believe that like either rejection is redirection or rejection is protection. And,
Yeah.
sometimes something
Yes.
about that was not for you and look where you are now. That's so great. I love that for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Something that you had mentioned about helping people that travel so much, now that I think about it, it's not just a time management thing. There's so much adjustment that's happening. And like you're saying, people have kids and everything.
Yeah, I work with people who are business travelers. I work with some federal law enforcement. I've worked with CEOs. I've worked with some high power people, or just flight attendants or other pilots. And so we all traverse this world, and we all have struggles, and we all are under the gun under high pressure work environment. And I do it too. And so I think that's one of the big things that separates us from other companies is that I still fly. I still do these things. I don't live in a gym. I can't. I don't eat chicken, broccoli, and rice every day. It's something I tell people. Even if I wanted to, I can't.
Right. Well, yeah, and you mentioned the different foods. I mean, I I'm sure going to a different country, it's a different food culture, but even maybe between different states. You said you grew up in California, we were talking earlier, and now
Right.
you're in the Midwest, right?
Now in the
So is the
Midwest,
food different?
totally different. A lot more cheese.
Right.
And
Okay.
I'm actually a plant-based person, so that's, I've been doing that for almost 8 years now. And that just adds another wrinkle into my life and trying to control my food environment. I can't just go to most places and order food. So I'm very much intentional with kind of what I do. And if I can be a plant-based pilot guy who builds muscle and loses fat, I promise whoever's listening to this, you can do it too.
Yes, yes,
So
I love that. Do you mind if I ask you about something that I read about you about before when you first started going to the gym, people were really rude and like exclusive to you.
that's
They
okay.
like you got kicked out of a gym or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to
So
talk about that? It's okay.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think one of the more controversial things about me is I like to wear leggings. Who cares, right? And it's funny because, when this goes into like masculinity, and something that's a big part of my life is um I do not care what people think about me. And I certainly don't care if people think I'm manly or not. Like, I don't really care. And this is coming from my background where I was a college athlete. I boxed in college as well. I played high school football. I was in the military. I'm a pilot in the military. So I've done all these quote hypermasculine things that some men would love to say they could have done, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And the more you do something, like, masculinity is a verb. Liz Plank said that in her book For the Love of Men, one of the best books I've ever read. It really opened my eyes to how arbitrary being a man really is, and how cross culturally it changes, and time it changes, and it's
totally.
not so set in stone. And it's suffocating, I think, for a lot of men. And we don't talk about it. Because if we talk about it, it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, if you want to wear leggings, Scott, like, you're just less of a man. So I don't want you to rub that juju on me, type of thing. And so,
Mm-hmm,
long story short, me being myself, wearing clothing that I like, clothing that makes me feel sexy and powerful, is a threat, I think, to other men who aren't used to seeing that. And either they're afraid of me, I think ultimately they're afraid of me, but
mm-hmm,
they're afraid of maybe what I stand for because I'm different. And
mm-hmm.
sometimes the most fragile people are the bodybuilders that I train next to in a gym. That's just, that's their problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, yeah, like, I've had people complain about me, or I've had people complain to staff, and they've had a gym ask me to leave, all because I wore leggings or shorter shorts
Mm-hmm.
that are like leggings that are tight, just tighter fitting pants. And this is not to say that, I'm wearing basically the same thing that women are wearing. And for women, it's entirely acceptable, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe even encouraged. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that people should just wear what they feel comfortable in. And if
Yeah.
you don't like what someone's wearing, short of some hygienity thing, like, you don't want to be naked at the gym. I guess it's bad hygiene.
So,
Um, I'm still wearing clothes, but I find it interesting that, there's different bars, there's double standards, right? The same could be said for women take their shirt off, right? How do we
mm-hmm.
free the nips, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's the same idea. And I got asked to leave at least one gym, and it was dumb. And it's okay. There's other gyms. I found a new gym. It's not a big deal.
Yes.
But, you know, no one likes to feel singled out. I know I'm different, but I don't think it's harmful. you know?
No.
And there's a difference there. And I think it's a fear of a little bit of a homophobia. I have a wife, I'm straight, but people think I'm gay all the time because of how comfortable I am in my own skin. And there might be some fear with that too. So yeah.
Yeah. What I heard from that is is that like level of fear, you know, these like you said, fragile. I didn't mean to laugh at what you said. I was laughing
No.
at like the fact that they got so up in arms about it. Like that's crazy. Like, you know, like that's so none of their business. And I always say to myself, like, also, like you said, don't care what people think. Don't care what people think about me. Like, that whole thing is like, but people's opinions of me are also none of my business. That's their thing. Like, I live by that for sure, for sure.
Yeah, and women go through this all the time.
Hmm.
I know like my wife told me stories about just being in high school where you couldn't have spaghetti straps because your bare shoulder is so
Insane.
so scandalous. So it's not unique to me, obviously. It's just a lot of men don't go through that because clothing with men is really interesting if you think about it. Why are women encouraged to wear tighter fitting clothing? Like why would that ever happen? Ever, think of it that way. And the short answer for me is the patriarchy. And the short answer for why I got asked to leave the gym is for the patriarchy.
Mhm.
Because certain clothing serves certain people, and certain people, when it doesn't serve them or threatens them or makes them feel inadequate or makes them feel less good about themselves, and then certain people's voices are listened to more than others, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And I know, speaking to you as a woman, a straight white man's voice is heard often more than yours. That's just an unfortunate truth. And now that I've also been singled out because I didn't get in line, um, the more traditional straight white man's voice is going to be listened to more than me. But um, ultimately, it harms everyone. It harms them too.
Yeah.
Trying to uphold some arbitrary rule, it making them feel shameful for something, right? There's so much shame in our world,
Yeah.
and it really is just a waste of time. That's really where this minor thing of getting kicked out of the
Exactly.
gym is so much. I would take that on any day as opposed to live with the shame that I felt before I felt like I couldn't wear what I wanted to wear because I was too afraid of what people think. And there's people worldwide who worry every day, who make decisions about everything they do because of someone else. And that is exhausting and a waste of time. And this minor gym thing or people hating on me, it pales in comparison to the people I've met once I've kind of leaned into who I am. It's paled in comparison to the freeness I feel on a day-to-day life to be me. And I just really want to encourage other people to think about who they are and if they're okay with that. And
Yeah.
maybe look more inside themselves rather than other people. If someone's wearing something that makes you feel uncomfortable to the point where you need to like take action against them, what's that say about you? Granted, if you're hurting someone, you're doing something that's quote inappropriate, and I would say like trying to stalk people. Like if you think about what goes on in gyms that is inappropriate besides what I wear, it's
Mhm.
crazy. And so my clothing is the other way I reframe this is what's the most popular sport in America?
Football? Baseball.
I think football or even
Football.
baseball. Let's just say football. What do they wear?
Uh, they wear biker shorts and shoulder pads, right?
Yeah, and they're sweaty and they're jumping on each other. They're grabbing each other in slow motion,
Hmm.
zoomed in. And the Super Bowl is one of the most widely watched things still on cable television, right?
Yep. Yep.
Are we hiding our children's eyes from watching sweaty men in tights run around? No, right?
Right.
So isn't that weird how context is everything with what's inappropriate and what's not appropriate with our bodies and what we wear,
Mhm.
specifically for men? maybe that's something I can throw my tagline. It's something I've never said before. Is really that exact idea. Is that you wear tight pants on a football field, you're celebrated. I wear tight pants in a gym, I'm demonized.
Mm,
I've done both. I've played high school football and I've worn tights in a gym. I'm the same person.
yeah.
It's your behavior is something that should be critically looked at, not
Right.
necessarily your clothing, right? And it's so funny that as a man, if you're gonna wear anything that's not baggy or form fitting, it has to be for an athletic reason. Isn't that
Yeah.
weird? It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
Like you said, context
Like
and
you need a reason to wear that. Because
a
if you're
reason.
wearing it
Right.
just to wear it, you're a threat to, and a menace to society. Right? Like what is that? It makes no sense. Because from a woman's standpoint, like my wife wears yoga pants all the time. Does she go to yoga? No. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
Whatever, right?
Exactly.
And to really get deeper into this, sorry, I'm just unloading all of this.
Please
If you're,
go off. Yes.
yeah. So why is that? I'm just bringing out these points for the listener, man or woman, that, once again, masculinity is a verb. So if I'm wearing tight clothing for a verb that is masculine, like insert football, it's okay. It's like an equation. Tight pants, football equals manly. Tight pants, walking in the grocery store, going home, not doing manly sport, bad, weirdo. You know what I mean? Like it makes no
Yeah.
sense. And where's that come from? And I think it just comes from the same thing. It's that if it's upholding traditional male narratives and there's clothing that supports it, it's okay. But
Mhm.
if you're wearing clothing without a quote reason other than I like it and I feel comfortable in it, that's
Yeah.
not an acceptable reason for a man.
Yeah.
It is for everyone else. Why is that? Well, this is my theory. To really kind of get deep into these gender roles and modern patriarchy is that what women do, or gay men, trans people, anyone who's not a straight white person, what they do doesn't matter nearly as much as what the straight white guy does. That's the implicit rules that kind of govern our world in the first world, at least in the United States. I don't
Mhm.
agree with that. I'm just stating it. I'm just saying the silent part out loud.
Yeah.
And this is evidence of that. Because when we go raise our children, I'm going to have a baby girl. I'm really excited to raise her. When she goes into elementary school and they ask her what she want to be when she grows up, this is a quote from Liz Plank, by the way. She can raise her hand and say, I want to be a mom. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an MMA fighter. I want to be a welder. I want to be a trash woman. Kids say everything, right? You anything you want as a little girl
Mhm.
in society, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But when you go to the little boys at a very young age, if they say, I want to be, I don't know, a stay-at-home dad, not the same reaction, right?
Yeah.
Immediately. And that's how deep this goes with this masculinity ideas. And why is that? Right? Why can't the little boy just say, I want to be a stay-at-home dad, or I want to be a dancer, I want to be a florist, I want to be something, or a nurse, or I want to be something that maybe 60 years ago was dominated by women?
Yeah.
Uh, why is that? Well, because what the little boy does matters more, right? That's the only reason I can come up with. That's my theory. Is what that little boy does with his life implicitly matters more than what my daughter does, or what a woman does, or someone who ends up being other than straight does with their life. What they do doesn't matter. So they
Mhm.
can be anything they want. They can do this, they can do that. That freedom is kind of locked and changed because ultimately they don't matter as much. And that's what our society still lives in. Even though we're past like old school patriarchy where women can't, I don't know, sit on a bar stool in a bar. That'd be stories that my grandpa would tell me.
It's a
So
new wave. It's a new wave of this like horrible, horrible prejudice. And I kind of see what you're saying with like there's this pressure and this microscope, and I think
obligation, demand.
everybody faces like these limiting beliefs and these like um sort of barriers and also like backlash. Different people face backlash for not aligning with what's expected from gender roles and all this stuff. Like there's so much to it, and I think a lot of people are battling that today. And like I feel like that's that's kind of it's like it's being maybe not rewritten right now, but it's at least being re-examined.
I
As
think
a
it's the same.
society. Let's take a look at that. Like, let's unpack this.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Mhm.
I meet a lot of men who are like, dude, Scott, like, I wish I had your confidence to do X, Y, Z. I'm
Yeah.
like, you can. It just takes baby steps.
Mhm.
Um, I had a near-death experience. I know you wanted to talk about that. That's a
Yeah,
big reason
please.
why I feel like I got no problem speaking to the world on the internet about this. Like, I really don't. Like, I really hope it helps someone. I really hope it allows someone to wake up from the stupor that I used to be in of trying to be man enough every day. It's exhausting.
Mhm.
And that obligation doesn't exist. It only exists in your mind. And yeah, sure, some people will judge you for it. You might lose some friends. I did. You might change your social. I'm not saying it's not without cost, but let me put it this way. What isn't that one of the things that's worth the most? Being you? Like if anything costs anything, isn't that something that should be important to you? It should come at any cost to live your life authentically, yourself, to feel fulfilled, and to be happy. That's worth a whole lot to me. That's worth losing friends over. That's worth changing a job. That's worth so much. So the fact that people, I hope you're listening, hear that right now. You are worth it, and it's worth your bullshit friends who leave you if they don't support you.
Right. Right.
They're just succubuses in your life if they don't really want to be or understand or try to get to know who you really are. And so, yeah, I flew helicopters in the military. I had a near death experience flying helicopters. I was on a training mission and we had a near controlled flight into terrain, which is where both of us were unaware of our position in the sky. We were flying low and fast. Um, we pulled up out of it. I was being I was an instructor who was flying and he was evaluating me as a pilot monitoring, and he lost situational awareness. I was a student. I didn't have it, and it was the crew chief in the back who saved our lives. He looked down because he's like, "This feels weird." Keep in mind, this is the middle of the night under goggles in the middle of the desert, and no moon, so it's just flying in green soup, if you can imagine, through toilet paper rolls. Toilet paper rolls looking at just a blurry green fog. So that's why we almost died, and we didn't. And once we pulled up out of that and into that training mission, um, I realized there's a whole lot of things in my life I've been doing it the wrong way. And so it really got me thinking hard about why I do anything and if I'm okay with that, rather than just doing things to do things. And I kind of just realized, like, like, one, I don't know if this military thing is really me. I'm glad I did it, but probably going to get out. That was definitely the first thing I just was internalizing that, you know what? I don't need this. Like, I don't need this identity. I'll be fine
Mhm.
without it. Learned a lot. Glad I did it. But it's just a phase, right? You,
Sure.
you can reinvent yourself. And that's
Mm.
kind of what I realized is that specifically with men, they identify so much with the job they do, like it determines their masculinity as well. Once again, another verb, provider. What type of
Yeah.
provider are you? Are you an artist or are you Army helicopter pilot? Army helicopter pilot's going to get all the high fives. Is
Hmm.
it better? I mean, I enjoyed it until I didn't, until it was a bunch of assholes. I'm like, fuck this place. I'm leaving. Um, so it's not what's better or worse. It's where are you thriving and where are you the happiest, you know? And that's what I realized. I just like I wasn't happy here anymore. I can go fly somewhere else, and I'm really happy I did. But you know, even flying doesn't have to define who I am. I work with so many pilots who flying's great. It's a great career. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of work to get to where you're at.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to define you. It's like,
Yeah.
holy cow, like there's so much more to life than flying. And I think that's something my peer group struggles with is they don't really have a personality. They're mostly narcissistic and they identify as a pilot before Johnny or whatever their name is.
Right.
It just holds them back. Go do something else. It can be just a job and you can go do other things. Like I got into fitness or I really love dancing. I got into ballroom dancing.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's so cool.
I became a country DJ because I love music and I wiggled
Whoa.
my way into a country bar and that was one of the best jobs I ever had. That's how I met my wife doing country two-step. So it's your life is out there and what you do for work doesn't have to stop you from doing other things. It doesn't have to define you. In fact, it's much better defining yourself. And I just think a lot of people are afraid to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Period. Yep. We are not defined by our vocation, but it's the first question people ask. I'm like, don't we
mm,
have a better question than like, what do you do? And I get it. I mean, people spend a lot of time, all their time doing it. It's something that they care about. Some people hate their jobs and they stay and they still want to be like, oh, I'm this and that. And and are they coming home happy? Are they, you know, like, or are they rushed and hurried and stressed out and not not doing what they love, but also like not, like you said, not being who they want to be or not even knowing who they want to be. They don't have somebody asking those questions. So,
yeah.
mm,
And once again, it may not be their fault. Like, it's just maybe where they came and grew up from. Nobody asks those questions ever.
yeah,
They don't even know what they don't know. You know, that's one of my favorite ways to look at it. They don't know what they don't know.
yeah,
And um, it just takes and for me I might have still been there if it hadn't been for that experience to wake me up from. And so I don't think everyone needs to almost die to wake up from it. I hope that someone just listening to your podcast right now wakes up a little bit
yeah,
and asks the question, who am I? Am I okay with that? And if I'm not, what can I do about it to make changes?
yeah,
And guess what? You can change who you are. You totally can. You can go a direction. Like, I don't know, if something like really interests you, go do it, and maybe you get there and you're like, not for me, but I scratched that itch. And you can reinvent yourself. You can reinvent yourself every day. You know, the story that you tell about who you are, you're the author. Make it better if you want to make it better.
yeah.
If it's boring and you're okay with that, fine. You know, you get to be the hero of your own story. You're the author. So start picking your chapters. And if you're have been stuck in a never-ending chapter, maybe it is time to think about the next chapter and whatever that means for you. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Thank you so much for that. I'm gonna see if there's anything I wanted to specifically
Sure.
ask you. Um, oh, another thing, because I think before we got on, were talking about just like Scott is controversial. You know, what he says is like some of these
Yeah.
things. I read that you've got your content blocked and throttled by Meta and YouTube. Is
Today,
that
today, Instagram shut my page down today.
you're kidding? That's where I reached out to you.
Yeah,
No.
no. I have the, I can't show you on the blur,
It's not
but I've
showing, but
submitted an appeal, and Meta will take a day to review my content to make sure that it doesn't violate our community standards.
OMG.
And out of the blue. So this is my second account, by the way. So I
Yeah.
went through this the first time, and they'll flag certain content, and usually, shocker, it's me in a swimsuit or me working out, and someone's offended by that. But this page hasn't got nearly the amount of like reporting. Like, in fact, maybe like only 20%, maybe like a total of 5 or 6 posts got reported and removed.
Yeah.
And then hadn't had that happen in months. And then I woke up this morning saying it was suspended.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, that's Meta, right? That's Instagram, Facebook, Meta
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that.
It's only my business, And so,
It's
yeah,
only your literal business.
yeah. So I also have a TikTok and other platforms, obviously, and YouTube. But yeah,
What are your
like,
handles? Just shout them out because that's
oh, they're
ridiculous.
all Jet Set Trainer. They're all Jet Set
Okay,
Trainer. You can search
perfect.
it. I can give you the link tree if you want for your
Yeah.
page. But yeah, so like it's this thing, right? Like, people put so much more sexually charged stuff on Instagram.
Mhm.
And that's okay. Like, I'm not judging. Like,
Yeah.
go be you, go do your thing, right?
Go be you.
But you notice that me, the man, is the deviant person who's violating a community guidelines versus a woman isn't. Why is
Mhm.
that? Why does a woman get 3 million followers wearing bikinis? I wear some Speedos, and all of a sudden I'm a threat and a menace to society. Patriarchy, right?
Right. And
That's right.
footballs, whatever. And then like the Olympics, swimmers.
The Olympics. But once
It's
again, remember, context matters because it's a
mhm.
verb, so it's okay if you capture male bulges or genitalia on NBC in front of millions of people. That's okay because they're competing for a sport.
Mhm.
But if someone's just hanging out, tanning at a pool, then something's wrong with them,
Right. It's
or it's a
nobody's
threat.
business. And it's so controlling. It's such a controlling atmosphere. Like what I wear, what you wear, what he, she, they wears. So
Yeah,
why is that a topic even? And why does it bother you so much? Why
it's
why can't
suffocating.
it's suffocating. It's suffocating, it's pressure. Yeah. That's
Yeah. So I guess I'm controversial because I wear Speedos and leggings. Frankly, I don't think it's that
right.
controversial.
Yeah.
Um, I Most of my followers tend to be LGBTQ individuals. Do have some straight people who follow me, but great. It's only made me better as a person. I
Yeah.
didn't have LGBTQ plus friends or people in my life until I started to just be myself.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome. Like, there's so many awesome people and souls out there,
Mm.
and who they want to love or how they want to identify themselves honestly does not matter.
Mm-mm.
So it's just been such a blessing to me to have gone in all in on myself like this, to just be exposed to so many other wonderful people.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so like, they're being persecuted against, I'm lumped into that just because, whatever. It's too bad. So I don't know to be honest, I just don't know what's controversial. I think that would be controversial is that I'm going against the narrative of what I shouldn't be doing. And I don't know, maybe it's controversial to just try to be me. But I 1000% will continue to do it. Like,
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook or not, doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to stop me from being me. And
Yeah.
it's not going to stop me from attracting people to work with me because they want to be them too. And they want to feel confident in their own skin. They want to feel like they have the freedom that I feel every day, that I worked on myself to do.
Yeah.
And if I don't have 5 million followers on Instagram, it's totally fine. It's not a big deal. So yeah, that would be controversial, but yeah, my content is
Yeah.
always flat.
And
And
the other thing too, sorry, not to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
um, with the fitness side of it, there's lies that the fitness industry is telling people too. You know, you've got this super supportive and super understanding and super like just there for people and being that like holding that space and everything. And also they're combating not just some of the like inner echoes and everything, but like literal myths. What is it? Like myths, right?
Yeah, I guess you're kind of touching on there's a ton of myths and stories in the fitness industry that are not in the interest of the consumer.
Mhm.
I think that's what you're hinting at, right?
Yeah, yeah, like how are people supposed to navigate that? And they need
Yeah.
they
I
need
think,
better. They deserve better.
well, fundamentally, there are certain businesses, especially in America, that if they solve a problem, it's less profitable.
Yeah.
I think that's where it fundamentally begins. You have the Atkins diet, for example, Mr. Atkins. That's not, keto, like keto. Sorry, listeners, if you're diehard keto. I just think it's a predatory diet that's designed to cause you to yo-yo diet and be unhealthier at the end of the day.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
that's more profitable. And coming from my plant-based background, what's the most expensive thing in the grocery store?
Meat.
Meat. So if I can get a diet that makes you buy more of my stuff, bacon and steak, and say this is healthy, eat more of it, I'm gonna make more money. So
Mhm.
yeah, let me sponsor this keto, paleo, whatever, it's all the same thing. And let's say that that's the beacon of health. And yeah, there are benefits to that short term, I guess, but that's an entire myth that people, and I'm not telling people to go vegan either. Like, I'm just saying eat what makes you happy. You can find health with all foods and just eat the ones that you enjoy and that you can be better with. Like, if I had French fries and soda every day, I'd be 100% perfect vegan, but I would be very sick, right?
Right.
So I'm not saying that just because I'm a vegan person, I'm automatically healthier. It's not true. And so nutrition is such a dynamic, ever-changing science as well. It's hard to isolate, when they do trials like looking at a vegan diet or looking at an omnivorous diet and whatnot, it's very hard to isolate certain, what am I trying to say? Variables in the experiment.
Mhm.
All I can say is that fad diets are fad diets. They're not health. So what is healthy is making sure you don't overeat and making sure that you're getting a varied diet with less processed foods and more whole foods, right?
Mhm.
In general. But that doesn't mean all processed foods are evil. I am very like middle of the road, just like, hey, like what do you eat? Okay, we can make that work for you. If you want to eat better food, better meaning more nutritious per calorie, sure.
Yeah.
But it's not the end all be all because you can overeat very nutritious food and
Hmm.
you can be in the same spot when it comes to like body fat or muscle. You can still be in the same spot, whether it's all McDonald's or all Whole Foods. It's just how much do you eat too. So there is a lot of narrative myths, and there are a lot of things that are not designed for the consumer to actually, like for example, with weight loss, lose the weight and keep it off for good.
Mhm.
If they did that, if they solved the problem, they wouldn't come back as a customer. So I really try to undo that with my business is I'm not trying to push fast results. Fast results don't last. Fast results are not healthy. Fast results don't teach you anything. It
Ooh,
really
yeah.
doesn't. And best way I can explain this, I have a weight just like you and every listener who generally maintains for most of their life, right? People just kind of fall into a weight. Like some people are 200 pounds, some people are 80, 180, some people are 140. They're just kind of naturally in a weight.
Mhm.
Some people are okay with that. Some people aren't. Some people wish it was less. Some people wish it was more. But the fact remains is that most people generally maintain a certain weight, right? That's actually really good because all we're going to do is shift left or right with what weight and what body composition they want.
Mhm.
And we're going to use the same habits to maintain that more desirable weight or condition. But we're people of habits, right? It's our habits that shape how we look and what our health is. If we change those habits and practice them enough, you'll never undo your new weight or your target weight or your target body fat percentage.
Mhm.
That's how you solve the problem. You don't do it by getting rid of an entire food group or ditching alcohol for a month or doing Whole 30 or doing I don't even know what they are. I don't even look at them. Whatever crazy month challenge it is, that's not
Right.
solving any problems. It's just teaching you that you can follow a plan, which is great. You can have discipline, but why don't we just be disciplined in something that's long term and sustainable,
Mhm.
right? And so that's what I want to encourage people is I'm really trying to empower people. You can reach your best weight or best body because you maintain exactly what you have right now. If you can maintain what you have right now, you can maintain a future better you.
Mhm.
You're already an expert at your current weight. We just want to make you an expert at your future body. And once you become an expert, there's no sacrifice because you just are. You just become that new person. Does that make sense, I guess?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you have such a scientific approach to it, is like my impression. And like, I feel like what am I trying to say? No, just habits, just habits. I agree. I did keto for a while and I swear I bounced back and I was heavier than before I started. As soon as I introduced just a tiny bit of sugar,
Yeah.
like you said, yo-yo right at the beginning. And then and yeah, anything that's a trend is you got to evaluate that pretty carefully. And also not any just one food is necessarily good or bad. I think I heard somebody say like you can gain weight by only eating oranges. Like
Yeah.
if you eat too many oranges, you're gonna have too many calories and you're gonna have too much like it's a fruit. We eat fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables, but varied. Yeah.
Even just the even just our language about food, good and bad, right?
Mhm.
Taquitos or Oreos and oranges and so there's different feelings with foods. Those feelings can mess us up. They really can. We shouldn't have feelings associated with food. We should just enjoy food and just know what it costs. Just like I think another way of putting it is like with your budget. Like, do we have feelings about, well, some people do, spending money, right? Some people feel good spending money and they get into trouble, right? But we should have a very objective approach when it comes to spending money, just a very objective approach when it comes to food. Do you like Ramit Sethi? Love the guy. Love his book. Um, he talks about living your rich life and he likes cashmere sweaters. I will never buy a cashmere sweater. No part of me wants one. But that's like what he really likes. But he spends money on that, but he saves money everywhere else to be financially secure, but he's not giving up the things that he loves in his life to do it. They do
Okay,
really
cool. Thank
there's an
you.
author called Ramit Sethi. He talks about finance. And you can equate a lot of what he says with finance with eating. And my analogy is he likes cashmere sweaters. I don't. And they're very expensive. And so for me to say, what a waste of money, cashmere sweaters. Like, sure, it's a waste of money to me, but for him, it's something that brings him a lot of joy. And so he goes all out with cashmere sweaters. But for me, like I love travel. Like I love spending time, on experiences somewhere or whatever. And he likes travel
Mhm.
too, but just using it as an example, where we spend our money is up to us and the joy that it brings us. The same is true with food. The foods we enjoy, the foods that make us happy, you still should get to decide what those are, and you shouldn't get rid of the ones that you really like, even if it's cake and ice cream and pizza. If those things bring you joy, don't get rid of them because you'll
Yeah.
never stick to a life without them.
Right.
We just have to make a budget to make it fit your nutritional plan. That's all it is. If we want to have pizza and beer, great. We just have to make room for it every day.
Mhm.
Just like Rami Sethi would say, you like cashmere shredders, great. Probably don't need to drive a BMW. You
Right.
just need a car. Get a used car. They get you A to B. You don't need to have the nice car, the nice house, the hot tub, the 50-inch big screen TV. Like, you don't need all those things if you're not really into those things. So get the things that save you money so that you can spend money on the things you really love, like cashmere sweaters for him.
Yeah.
Same thing with food. Don't be eating out every single meal and all these things that you're like, yeah, it's pretty good, but I really love pizza. Well, go spend your money on really good pizza or wine or whatever food thing that is like your just favorite food that you would love to eat on a semi-regular basis.
Mhm.
Great. Work with a coach like myself or another nutrition coach to make that a part of your diet
Yeah.
and still reach your goals. Because
Mhm.
all food is good if it doesn't make you sick.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't hurt you and it doesn't make you sick, it can be in your diet.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just have to make the puzzle pieces fit. Just like you
Right.
would with finance. You don't need the 50-inch brand new TV every year. Even, you don't need it because it's not something you're into. So
Mhm.
that's all I was going to say about food. And I think I wish more people looked at food that way rather than good, bad, Whole30, processed, carnivore, vegan. I'm a vegan, but I'm not judging someone for eating meat. If that's what makes them
Yeah.
happy, go do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. All that food anxiety. I mean, I feel that. And it's so relatable. Food is definitely big in our culture anyways. And the car you drive is another big one. But
yeah, sure.
yeah,
Especially in LA.
you can afford anything, but you can't afford everything is like same with food. But I,
Just
I love that. Yeah, go
being
ahead.
intentional, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It gives you so much feelings of control. When you start spending money on things you don't need and you start eating things just to eat, we're not in control. And then we feel less happy, which can
Yeah.
lead to more spending or more eating. So just be in
Yeah.
control. Do you want this sandwich today? Yes or no? I probably don't need that sandwich. Great. Or maybe pack a lunch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being
I love that.
intentional is good. Yeah.
Being intentional, being mindful. Well, I wanted to say thank you for your service earlier.
Thank you for
Um,
paying.
yes, yes. The real psychology of getting noticed, admired, and empowered. Some people go through their day and they just feel invisible. And that can be that can go right along with how they look, what they're wearing and what their body looks like and how comfortable they are in it, how comfortable with their clothes, how comfortable they are in their own skin. And sometimes people get noticed in a negative way and they get shamed for it. So personally, the reason I'm asking is because sometimes I feel like I get noticed too much. I'm almost
Okay.
6'2" as a
Oh,
woman.
okay. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like up here.
Yeah.
And so it's wild. People are like sometimes people are like you should be a supermodel, sometimes they're like you're the same height as my brother and I'm like I'm always getting compared to men in that way and I've resonated with a lot of what you were saying about these
Yep.
double standards and even earlier with the dress code, I was like, yeah, that is so ridiculous. Girls get sent home for that kind of stuff. But with me, my question is that like how how does somebody
How do you deal with
feel
that?
yeah, how do you feel comfortable with the
Yeah.
level that you're being noticed?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. Yes, I do. Now I can understand. Yeah. As a 6'2" woman, people notice you, I'm sure. And maybe me being, wearing leggings or whatever, people notice me too. And we stand out, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like there's times where I don't want to be noticed. I just want to blend in. I don't want attention. And that's not all the time. Sometimes I thrive in being the center of attention. I guess I'm a Leo, right? I don't know. Like there's parts to me that enjoy that, but not always. So I can hear my wife in my background. She's always like, "Didn't you see that person looking at you?" And I'm like, "I know I didn't." Yeah, I'm kind of oblivious. I think, I guess to answer your question shortly is I'm aware, but not so hyper aware of what people looking at me or are concerned with me because I genuinely do not care. I think it's
Yeah.
really what it comes down to, and I think owning who you are will actually shape the impression people give you. Not always, but what I mean by that is I think everyone's worn something that they wanted to wear, but they're like, oh, like I like this, but I don't know if I can pull it off, right? I think everyone's had that
Mhm,
experience.
mhm.
You know, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
men in leggings, but when you're uncomfortable wearing something in front of other people, but you're comfortable wearing it in your home by yourself, that would be a perfect analogy. Um, and I guess what I want to say to anyone out there is if they're feeling like to you as a 6'2" woman, you can't change that. That's not going to change. And people noticing you is not going to change either. But how you carry yourself will affect how they treat you. And for example, when I walk into an environment wearing leggings to a gym or wearing a Speedo to the beach or something, I know I'm going to stand out. I know it's different. I know I'm probably the only one there.
Mhm.
But I own it because I guess what I can say is the way you carry yourself and how confident and you are in your gait, your behavior, your calmness, there's energies you put out, right? If your energy is calm, not stressed, not like, oh my God, people are looking at me, like that nervous energy brings out, I think, fear in other people. Almost like with horses. I don't know if you ever rode a horse. You're
Yeah.
scared of the
Yeah.
horse. The horse is scared of you because like, why are you afraid of me? Why are you afraid
Yeah.
of me? And that's when people get hurt, right? So
Yeah.
that lifeblood energy that comes that irradiates from everyone that everyone puts out there. If it's as calm, normal, cool, and collected, you can be wearing anything and people will just accept it. They might be like, that's different, but he's behaving in a very normal way, so I guess it's normal. Like it's almost
He's
like you're
fine with it.
selling yourself. So as a tall woman, if you carry yourself as I'm not tall, I'm just Allie.
Yeah.
I'm Allie, and I'm happy to be here. It's a beautiful day. I'm wearing a great dress. I feel fantastic. People are going to notice you, but I think they're going to notice you in a better way because of how you carry yourself. And I don't mean better that it matters that it's better. You'll just be, I guess, the biggest anxiety people have is being well received or not, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
Mhm.
why it matters is because you want to interact with people and not be seen as a weirdo or special or different.
Yeah.
You just want to interact with anyone else if you were 6 foot or 5'9" or whatever. You just want to be treated just like a woman like anyone else.
Yep.
Maybe for who you are as a person, not for how tall you are. Or for me, with not the clothing that I wear, just treat me for who I am.
Yep.
Fastest way to do that, be 1000% act like there is nothing different about you than anyone else. And I think if you believe that, is really kind of you admitting that belief and that ownership of like, I'm just me. There's nothing remarkable about that. I am different, but I'm proud of that. I love who I am. And if people have questions about that, sure, but it's not like I'm not afraid, I guess. There's not an ounce of fear in me about that. And if someone has to say something about that, you're 1000% ready to respond to make it clear that the question that they're asking is irrelevant. For example, I've had people confront me about leggings all the time. And not all the time, but every once in a while. And
Mhm.
someone will say, "Hey, you gonna put some pants on?" I'm like, "I am wearing pants." It's the first thing out of my mouth. I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like I treat them like they're the psycho, not me. They're the psycho. Why do you care what I wear? Do you
Right.
not watch football? Yeah, I'll be straight face, because you'd be surprised because people who are so angry and they're like, I'm gonna say something to this guy. I'm gonna let him know. I had this big guy come up to me and basically in the gym, like interrupt me in the gym. He's like, you gotta wear different pants. And I'm like, excuse me? Who are you? And he's like, you can't do that. You need to wear some more appropriate pants here. And I'm like, do you work here? He's like, no. And I'm like, why the fuck are you talking to me?
Mhm.
I just like stood my ground. This guy was like 6'4", big burly guy. And I just stood my ground and got up from my thing and I just said, if you have a problem with me, go talk to the front desk. Don't fucking talk to me.
Yeah.
Period. And I
Yeah.
don't think he was ready for that
Period.
because I am so confident that I am not doing anything wrong. I am just being myself. I am just wearing what other people wear, other women wear. I'm not here. I'm not bothering. I'm racking my weights. I'm following the rules. I'm not doing anything. I just look different. And that's not my fucking problem. That's your
Mhm.
problem. And I
Mhm.
100% will go 0 to 1,000 on somebody and make sure they know that it's their problem with sound logic because I'm confrontational. And they're not ready for it. Like, I guess if anyone listening to this is like, I want to be me and I want to just own who I am, just like, I don't know, like if you need to practice in the mirror, just if you ever run into someone who has a problem with you, I don't know, just be more 100%, like, be that person that, like, have the attitude kind of like, make my day, motherfucker. Make my fucking day. Come up to me and say something about what I'm wearing. I've been waiting for this. And I'm going to come at you with the fury that nobody expected. Because I think they're expecting you to feel that shame that they feel if they were wearing something similar or if they were out in public because you don't have shame and they don't like that. And so they think that you're going to be this paper tiger that they push and you're going to crumble. But when you're not, when you stand up to that and you call them out because they're the real paper tiger, it's them who's fragile. They're the ones who feel like they need to stop you from your freedom and your happiness with yourself because they don't have that. And they're going to crumble like a house of cards when you stand up to them. And that's
Mhm.
happened every single time with me, and they don't fuck with me ever again. Promise. They don't even look at me in the eye. And it's great. It's awesome. And I hope they grow from it, right?
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, I don't wish ill on anyone who doesn't like me. I don't care. It's worse than that. Like, they don't occupy any space in my mind. I
Yeah.
move on with my life. I wish them well, but I really like they are irrelevant to me. And if they want to be relevant in my life, I will make sure they're relevant by standing up for myself. And I need to make it painful for them to allow me to be who I am. Bring it on. So, but I'm a confrontational person. I got no problem doing that. And I think if anybody's listening to this, you should stand up for yourself. Be ready for that.
Yes.
If you're going to
Yes.
be different, if someone were to say something rude to you, don't let them take your power. That's not
Mm-mm.
fair. That's not right. You're 9 times bigger than them. They're the little dog barking at you, and you're the big Great Dane. And you don't need to turn around and with your tail between your legs. You just bark back, and they'll leave you alone.
Mhm.
They're gonna go pick on someone else because that's who they are. So, like, does that kind of encapsulate what you wanted?
Amazing. No, thank you so much. Yes.
Just, just own who you are, because remember, if you don't believe in yourself, who else will?
Yeah.
If
Period.
you don't own the clothes you want to wear, you're a tall woman, you're beautiful, you want to go out and just be a normal human and own that and own the space. If they don't like that, if someone wants to be rude about that or say some snarky comment like, "Oh, you're as tall as my brother," and it's like, why does that matter?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why
It's
did you need to tell,
irrelevant.
why did you feel the need to tell me that? Just kind of laser in on who they are and what they're trying to do, and I promise you, like, it is all uphill from there. Whoever's listening, it really is. Because once you lean into who you are, things just start happening for you.
Yeah.
Once you
Yep.
find that good, happy energy with who you are and that freedom, the clouds disappear and you're just in a such happier place. So I really hope you and everyone else listening or gets the chance to listen to this thinks about that and just find that happy place. Go do it. And as long as you're not hurting other people, stand up for what you believe in.
Yes. Yes.
And remember, anybody who's stopping you over things like just because you're wearing something or I don't know, you mentioned you're in the LGBTQ community. If someone has a problem with that, man, it's just bizarre. It's really is. And just
Hmm.
believe that wholeheartedly. It's bizarre. And let them know that they don't need to worry about you. They really don't. So,
Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many gems in this whole conversation, and it's just been like so energizing and like it goes without saying inspiring, but like it's really good to talk to you. I really appreciate your time. Um, I definitely I definitely am like jazzed about this. So thank you again.
no, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for just letting me have access to my story with your listeners. I hope all I want to do is help people. That's all I want to do. And if listening to this helps someone, it's totally worth an hour of my life. It really is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to help people. And if they want to train with me, great. Come train with me or train with someone else. I don't know. Go find your person. Um I'm just really humbled to be here. So thank you for the opportunity to let me talk about some of this stuff with you.
Yes. All right, go train with Scott.
Yeah,
Okay.